We're live. Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Call. This channel, we're working on this comic page for the 4th stream in a row. We finally have it all penciled, and now we get to start lettering it. So I have my script just out of frame here. I have my thumbnail, so I remember where the different little speech balloons are going to go, and we're going to start lettering. I also, other important tools, I've got my triangle here and my Ames lettering guide. So there is no word balloons in the first big panel. It's just kind of an establishing shot type situation. So we are going to come down here and start putting in our guidelines. So the thing with the Ames lettering guide, I've done this before, but I like to go over it when we do it. Hey, Spud, thanks so much for joining me. Is you're just going to use this bottom row of dots and you set it to how big you want your letters. I'm on a 4 here, which is what I normally do. So you make sure that you use the triangle to act as a guide and to make sure that you are at a 90-degree angle with the edge of your panel. So you do that first dot, second dot, and you can see the little curved line connecting this dot and skipping over this middle one. This would be if we were doing like upper and lower and we wanted a halfway, well, it's like 2/3 way guide as well. But we don't need that because I'm just doing all uppercase letters. So you keep following those dots, and then you break your pencil tip. Good job. And then when we get to the last one on the bottom row, we go down. Make sure our side is still nice and lined up. Get that top dot on the last line that we just made. Scoot that up a little bit. And keep going. Until we have what is probably enough lines for the section that we are going to be lettering. And I do have a whole video about hand lettering, which is by far the most popular video on my channel. Even though it's not like technically, as far as videos go, really great, it covers all the important information you need. All right, and then I like to write the letters in pencil first before I go over them with ink, just to make sure that I have the spacing and everything the way that I want it before I commit to ink. That's not where I want that. I'm going to scoot that up. This is why I do this in pencil, because I have to scoot these things around a lot while I'm working on it. I go, no, I don't really want that there. I want it somewhere else. So while I am working on this, how was everybody's weekend? Did everybody have a good time? Anybody do anything fun? Spud went out of town and visited an old friend in Oklahoma City. Nice. And is going to Cleveland Thursday for the weekend to attend a Devo fan convention. Oh, that's cool. That sounds fun. This past weekend, I was at Granite State Comic Con in Manchester, New Hampshire. It was a good time. Made more sales than I usually do at Granite Con, which is nice. Met some really cool people and got to hang out with some of my friends, of course. Met some new Artist Alley friends as well. Okay, I just want this like middle line. I don't need the rest of this. It's just one word in this speech bubble down here. I don't have to. There's too much happening in this this particular word balloon. Also, that's a lot of blue. It's a lot of blue pencil to try to letter over. I'll lighten that up a little bit. Ah! There we go. All right, only one more word balloon. Okay, so I have figured out basically where all of the letters are going to go. And so now I can get some of this stuff off of my desk. It's kind of crowded on here right now. And we can start committing some of these letters to ink. I'm going to be using my Royal Talons India ink. I'm going to be using my school nib. Hey, Hungry, thanks so much for joining me. All right, we're going to start putting in these letters. And the big thing with comic lettering to remember is always that you are making each stroke, each piece of each letter is a separate movement, and you have to pick up your pen between each one. It's not like when you're writing normally where stuff can kind of blend together. You have to pick up your pen between each part of the letters to keep them nice and neat. And I apologize if I get kind of quiet while I'm doing this. It's difficult for me to make letters and speak at the same time without like accidentally starting to write what I'm saying, and I don't want to do that. Oh, I got some paper fibers picked up on my pen. I do not want to drag those through my letters and make a mess. Brr. So I'm just gotta periodically stop and rinse out my pen nib and pull any of those little paper fibers out with my paper towel. Ta-da. Okay. There's only a few speech bubbles on this page, thankfully. This will not take us too terribly long because that's the first panel done. There's not a whole lot left. Okay, last one. Okay, so that is all the lettering. Pretty short and sweet on this page, thankfully. So I'm gonna clean my pen out. So now I have all the letters on there. Now I need to make the little balloons around them to contain the letters. Which the tricky part of that is these letters are not like fully dry, so we gotta be very careful. Um, you know, my ideal workflow is that I would get to like do lettering before, like do hand lettering before I'm about to take a break of some sort, either at the end of a work day, like at the end of a work day where I'm going to be done for the night and then it'll get plenty of time to dry, or like right before I break for lunch or something like that. Um, that's the ideal. We don't always live in the ideal world. So we just have to be very careful about how we put in our balloons so that we are not dragging our tools around or dragging our hands around through the still kind of wet ink. Those really bold, thick lines that we use to make the letters, especially when it's been really like humid lately, which has been my life all summer in the Northeast here. We've had a terribly wet and humid summer and spring, and it looks like we're gonna have a wet fall too. This is just how it's going. It's just been a ridiculously wet year. And so the ink takes even longer to dry. So we're just gonna have to be very careful around some of this. We're gonna use my ellipse template to try to find a good size. Draw a little guideline there so that I know where I'm going to put that. Get our little tail in there. And then I'm going to get my Tech pen. Which is hopefully cooperating today. Looks like it is. All right. And that's just a little baby tail, so I think I'm going to skip using the French curve for it. That worked out just fine. Yes, I had a very good weekend at Granite Con. They had a surprise guest visit from Peter Laird. He never comes out and does convention appearances. For those who don't know, Peter Laird is one of the original creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he does not come out and do appearances pretty much ever. So it was a big deal that he popped out for Sunday to meet people and do some signing and everything. I did not go over. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I did not go over, I mean, I recognize how important Ninja Turtles are in comics history and everything and pop culture history, and obviously I liked the show when I was a kid. I like most iterations of the property, but I'm not a huge super fan, and man, people waited in that line for a long time. People waited in that line for a very long time. So I didn't get in the line. There were people who definitely really, really wanted to be there. They were more than welcome to it. Wasn't really a thing that I felt the need to do, but it was cool. It was very cool for the people that were very into it. I know a lot of people were just absolutely ecstatic that they got the chance to meet him and have him sign stuff. I don't like that tail. That looks goofy. Okay, we're not going to do that. That looks goofy. I'll do a middle tail. I think that'll have to work. There was another artist there that apparently I met my same brain doppelganger. So a couple of people who some of my other acquaintances and friends in the convention scene, other artist alley folks, mistook this other person for me. Would catch them from behind or just see the side of their head or something and be like, "Oh, that's Amanda." Nope, not Amanda. Nope, not Amanda. Just someone who looks very similar to me. And so when I spotted them, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's obviously the person that people thought was me." Because even I can see I don't think we look a lot alike, but I can see the resemblance, you know? And so I was like, "Hello, I apologize. Some of my friends came up to you and thought you were me." And they're like, "Oh, that all makes sense now." But the really funny same brain part of it was that we cosplayed the same characters over the weekend. So since I have my hair dyed ginger now, like I did the ginger hair dye again for the fall because I did it last fall and I thought it was really fun. And then it allowed me because I had to bleach it first because it's normally like really dark brown. And so since I had to bleach it first, that gave me the opportunity to do all sorts of like really fun colors over the course of the winter as it like grows out and fades out. And I, get to just play with different colors all winter long until I ultimately chop it all back in the summer again. And so I was like, well, that was really fun last year. Let's do that again this year. And so since I had the short ginger hair, I was like, okay, I'm going to cosplay as Gideon on Saturday from Gideon the Ninth. And then I'll do Crowley from Good Omens on Sunday. Because the other thing too is that they're both like fairly easy as far as like easy casual cosplays. They're not like over the top or restrictive or anything. A lot of times people may not even necessarily realize you're cosplaying because I didn't do like the face paint for Gideon. I just wore a skull, like a skull painted mask. And yeah, so that's what I did. There's pictures up on like all my social medias and everything too, if you're interested. But I did Gideon Saturday and Crowley Sunday, and they did Crowley Saturday and Gideon Sunday. And we're just like, okay, yes, hello, person with same brain. It's just so funny. And I did kind of reflect a little bit on how once upon a time when I was a little bit less like secure as a person. Not saying that I'm not insecure now. I'm just slightly less insecure than I used to be. I think that also just comes from being older and being like, I don't really give a shit what other people think as much. But once upon a time when I was younger and even more insecure than I currently am, I would have definitely been like, "Oh no, this person did the same stuff as me this weekend. I am not that original." And like, how upsetting is this that someone else did the same thing and maybe they even did it better. Maybe people thought that they did a better job than me and were more cool and original, and I'm just like the copycat or whatever. And it's like, not, no, man. Same thing. Neither of us is being original. We both think the same things are cool. And like, yeah, there's a certain utility to the fact that if your hair is short and dyed red, which theirs was also obviously a bleach and dye job. If your hair is short and dyed red, then these are, and you like to dress kind of like androgynous or butch, then these are easy things to do while you're at a convention, like the exact same line of thought. And if you like Good Omens, it's not surprising that you would like Gideon and the Ninth and vice versa. Like that's interest. We're like kindred spirits, and that's a cool thing. That's nothing to be like anxious about or jealous about or be like insecure. It's just like, hey, that's cool. I met my same brain doppelganger, and that's cool. We are both nerds and we can enjoy these things together. And I liked their artwork. It was really cool. A lot of it was similar to the kind of stuff I like to draw. Imagine that. We have similar interests. But their stuff was still very obviously, theirs. It was very much their own like style and had their own voice to it. I'm pausing for a moment, looking for my binder because I have the sticker. I gave them my We Do Bones sticker, which is what I usually give to other like Artist Alley peeps that are into the Locked Tomb, and like, oh, you should grab a sticker too. And they had some really cute moth stickers that I was very tempted by, but then they also had Calcifer! Look at him! Ah. He's so great. He's so great. Look at that. How could you pass that up? And he's like vaguely shiny. It's so good. So yeah, that's that. So just kind of reflecting on my slow growth as a human being. I think especially as artists, we feel like being original, like being unique is such an important part of our work. And I don't know, I don't think like doing something no one has ever done before and being wholly original and wholly unique. For one, I don't think it's entirely possible. Everybody's kind of to an extent drawing from the same cultural wells and riffing off of the same ideas. But what makes it unique is that it's you. Like being genuine, I think is much more important than trying to be wholly unique. And everybody's going to have like a unique perspective and their unique lens on everything that they've been through in life and everything. So it's just more important that you're being as genuine as possible and, enthusiastic as well. Doing stuff that you really care about. That's going to make your work unique and awesome because that's you. This is getting slightly cheesy. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm channeling CP here. Sounds like the kind of rant that he would go on. But anyway, we've completed the lettering. Hooray. Now we're going to work on inking all the rocks, among other things. Tea break. You just take a sip of tea. Oh, this is my don't be a dick mug that my sister got me. I have a lot of sassy mugs. I enjoy my sassy mugs. I enjoy mugs that are also just like pretty or interesting stuff, but I do also like the sassy mugs. They're fun. Okay. We do have a little bit of like the tool type inking on this guy's armor here. So we're going to get some of those lines put in, or start to get some of those lines put in. There's only a couple of them really. So I'll just start with those, let them start to dry. I do have to ink all the rocks too. I love how you like just realized that. Like, oh no. Oh no. We also have to ink all the rocks. I do not foresee myself doing all of the rocks on stream. That just seems like it would not be fun for anyone to watch. At least you don't have to think as much when inking them. That is true. That is very much true. I'm not like as worried about trying to like figure out their form or anything. It's just like outline, texture, a little bit of shading, but all of that is a way lower mental load than coming up with their shapes in the first place and trying to keep them varied and going in different directions and all of that. Like it is still tedious and a lot of labor, but it's not anywhere near as mentally taxing as drawing them. Lots of little dots. Quick quiz. Who remembers what this inking technique is called? The one where you make all the little dots. It's a specific name for this. Oh, there's nothing coming out of my pen. Come on now. Making all little dots. Oh, and of course there was lots of fun cosplay. There was this one person was the Shadow, and I had to stop them and take a picture to send to my friend Bryce Whitaker, because Bryce cosplays as the Shadow sometimes, and usually he's just like, no one even knows what I am. Like, this is obscure, no one knows what's going on. And so that's why I was like, oh, I bet that this guy, not many people are even recognizing him. And I was like, oh, I have to take your picture. I have a friend who also cosplays the Shadow, and he's going to get a kick out of this. And the guy really appreciated the fact that I even knew what he was. So, so that was good. It is called stippling. Spud wins. Gold star for Spud. Making the little dots is called stippling. Oh, and my artist, not content creator, cat screen prints were a big hit. People really liked those. Sold a few of them. A lot of people just really liked it and commented on it, and that's cool too. I appreciate that too. Oh, and I did a new version of my Raven lino cut, the same one that I've been selling prints of for a while, but I did it in silver ink on black paper, and that one sold way better than the white one at this show. Everybody really liked that. They were like, "Ooh, that is nice." It was, and I mean, it came out really striking. It was one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I've got plenty of black paper and I got this silver ink. I may as well give it a shot. Because the nice thing about like any kind of is, making the block or the screen or whatever, like that's the tricky part. That's the hard part that takes a while. But then once you have it, it's really easy to make all sorts of prints really quickly and experiment with different color combinations and different types of paper and different types of ink. And that's like, that part is easy. That part is really quick, and you're just out whatever. You're not really hardly out any time. You're out whatever materials you try it with. And I started with a very small print run. I only did like 6 or so. And I'm like, well, if no one likes it, then that's just 6 of these that get sold, but that's really not bad. It's a pretty low risk to make those kind of experiments. So, but it worked out really well. But yeah, but as I was saying, cool cosplays. A couple of younger people were dressed as like mushrooms. They had these really elaborate mushroom costumes with like the big mushroom cap hat and like really cute elaborate outfits that went with it. One of them was like an inky cap. I don't know what the other one was. Something that was like light colored, like a tan color. That's a lot of different mushrooms are that color. I didn't ask them. I should have, but I didn't ask them what they were specifically. There were a couple of guys who were dressing up as Mario characters specifically from Mario Kart. So one of them, so they like dressed as the little Mario characters, and then they had like a little cardboard go-kart around their middle. It was like rocking around that way. One of them was Mario and one was Shy Guy. It was so cute. I was like, that's a fun idea. And there was one lady who was doing a oh god, I can never say it. The super tall vampire lady from Resident Evil. I just can't. I can't. It's French. You know what I'm talking about. Super tall vampire lady from Resident Evil dresses all in white. You know the one. But what was funny is obviously when people cosplay this character, they tend to wear like stilts or like really thick like lift shoes or whatever. And so this lady who was cosplaying this character was wearing like lift shoes, like big platform shoes that were like probably 6 inches tall. And I just thought it was really funny because even with these like 6-inch tall platform shoes, she was maybe an inch taller than my friend Margaret. And I pointed it out to her, and Margaret's like, "I noticed that." And just reminded me of the whole, like, "Look what they have to do to mimic a fraction of our power." I love my friend Margaret. She's very tall, and it's, like, fabulous. She's a tall, fabulous Amazon. And she's always like, "Yeah, if I ever did do a cosplay, it would have to be that character, and then I'd wear the big giant shoes, and then I'd really be tall." I'm like, "Yes, do it. It would be amazing." Get a little bit more of those lines with the tools. There we go. Spin it around. Try not to make everybody seasick. Okay, I can only do so many rocks at one time. We're going to come down here for a second. Got to periodically take rock breaks before I lose my mind. So I've only got one more like comic convention coming up this season, and then I have a couple other local events, and then that'll be it for this year. So in mid-October, it's like the 13th through 15th, I think, is BCTC, the Bangor Comic and Toy Con. And that's the last like Comic-Con of the year for me. As far as other conventions where I'm going to be showing, or other events where I'm going to be showing my work, the weekend before that, October 7th, that's Saturday, I'll be at the Bangor Sidewalk Art Festival. So if you're in the Bangor area, definitely come check that out. I did the earlier one in the summer and it was a really good time. Lots of really cool stuff there. Very enjoyable show. So if you can, I would definitely recommend attending that one. And then I also am going to be doing December 7th, I think. Whatever it is, I'll have to look at the calendar. But it's like the second Saturday in December is the Bangor Public Library is doing like a main authors book fair. And so I will be exhibiting at that as well. And that will be it for events where I'm selling my stuff this year. I should be at PAX Unplugged working for Victory Condition Gaming and representing Free League games like I did earlier in the year for Gen Con and PAX East. So that should be a good time. PAX Unplugged is usually a fun show. All right, that's just a great big shadow. X for great big shadow. Fill in with black later is what the X means. And now we get to do another quick quiz. What do you call this inking technique where you're basically making little scribbly markings? This also has a specific inking technique name. The little dots are called stippling. Spud got that one. What is this one called? Little scribbly mark making. Yeah, so I'm not sure what to expect for the author's book fair type show. I have not done that event before. I'm looking forward to it though. If nobody tells me what the answer is in the next, nobody comes up with an answer in the next like 5 minutes, I will tell you what the answer is for what is this technique called, where you make kind of scribbly marks when you're inking. As we fill in more of these spaces. I was going to say hatching, but I thought that was more like straight lines. That is correct. Hatching is straight lines. So hatching is, you see it in, I do a lot of that. That would be like what I did on the rocks here over the stippling. Hatching is just more or less straight, more or less parallel lines. And then if you do another layer of them going in another direction that overlaps them, that's called cross hatching. All right, what else do we need for... Look at that texture. Look at it. Oh, maybe Jason remembers. This is something we learned in art school, Jason. What is that mark making technique where I am inking with kind of scribbly looking marks? What's that called? It's got a specific name. So many stones. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to inking every blasted one of those. No, it's not called hatching. Spud already guessed that. Hatching is the straight lines. I did that on the side of some of these rocks. That's hatching. The straight, mostly parallel lines. But when it's like the scribbly marks, like I did on this stone texture here, it's got a different name. Squiggles. Squiggles is not the technical term, but it is descriptive. Hey, someone saying. Thanks so much for joining us, although we're close to the end at this point. I've only got a little less than 10 minutes left. I've got a piece of paper fiber stuck in my pen. I can see the lines getting thick and gloppy. Let's fix that. That's okay. That's okay. Stuff happens. Some nights it's a miracle I'm not late. Oh, goodness. So as we're in the last 10 or so minutes of the stream, I'm going to go over the YouTube things again. I'm Amanda Call. This is my channel where I make art every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I hop on here and I work on some art. It's usually a comic page. Very frequently, it's a comic page from my webcomic, Age of Night, which is what I was working on tonight. This is page 26 of chapter 28, which will be up in a few weeks. May or may not get to finish the whole thing on stream, depending on how long it takes me to continue to do this. But Age of Night, you can read on my website, ageofnight.com. That's AGEOFNIGHT.com. That uploads a new comic page every Wednesday. And you can read the whole thing so far online for free at ageofnight.com. However, if you would like to support me making comics, there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can like this video, share it with your friends. That doesn't really financially support me because I'm not a popular enough channel to be monetized. But it does help get the word out, and that gives me the opportunity to possibly get support from other folks in other ways. 'Cause other things that you can do is support me on Patreon. So I have a patreon.com/Age of Night, spelled the same way as the comic. Patrons, even at just $1 a month, get all of their comic pages a week early. So whatever is up there right now, they saw that last week. And then when a new page goes up on Wednesday, they will get to see next week's comic page. It's pretty cool. Patrons also get to see behind the scenes stuff that I'm working on. They get to see pencils of pages before they post. They'll get to see little previews of other projects that I'm working on, like pages for I Am the First, that sort of thing, or any other little short stories or what have you. It's a cool thing. And you also get free comics just for signing up, which also is pretty sweet. You can also buy copies of the first 3 volumes of Age of Night. They're available a few different places. You can buy them from Amazon if you must, but you can also get the copies from me at events, and always email me and be like, hey, or message me on any of the other and be like, hey, I would like to buy a copy of Age of Night of whichever volume, and I'll be like, cool, and send them to you in the mail. Pile of them here in the studio. You can buy PDF copies from the drive-through websites. So that's Drive-Through Fiction, Drive-Through Comics, and Drive-Through RPG, or from Skirmisher Publishing's website, just skirmisherpublishing.com. They are my digital publishing partners, which basically just means that they do a lot of the heavy lifting on marketing. So I don't have to. But it still gets to be my book, which is pretty cool. I do also have a Ko-Fi, Coffee, however you want to say it. Ko-fi site where I have a shop. You can buy mini comics. You can just make a donation, one-time donation if you want to. Any number of ways to support me, which I appreciate all of them. And yeah, my next in-person event is going to be the Bangor Sidewalk Art Festival on October 7th, right in downtown Bangor. It's an outdoor art festival. It's very cool. All right, so the answer to the question was scumbling. That's what you call it when you make these scribbly little marks to create inking texture and shading. It's called scumbling. 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 Jason's going to be like, oh, I remember that from class now. It's like one of those things they usually teach us in one of the drawing classes at some point, but it's like a mark making technique. But anyway, all right. So we got through all of our lettering. We got a strong start on some of the inking. I'm not going to subject you guys to all of the inking all the rocks on stream. I'm going to do at least some of those off stream because that's a lot. We'll be here forever and you'll be bored and I will not be able to maintain conversation through the whole thing. So I'm going to get some of that done off stream, get us a little further ahead. We'll see what we're working on next week. But thanks everybody for hanging out with me. I will see you next time. Bye.